I'm joined by one of our apprentices today, who's currently in learning with us, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell us about his job role and who he works for.
Hello, my name is Saadiq Adeyemi, and I'm a mechanical technician apprentice for Thames Water on my fourth year, or in my fourth year, sorry.
That's all right. And yeah, so tell us, just if we can rewind time a little bit back 4 years ago. Tell us how you got into an apprenticeship and why you chose an apprenticeship as the route you wanted to take after whatever you were doing.
How it started was I enjoyed going to school and everything, but I didn't enjoy the parts where it came to me having to do exams. And so I was trying to figure out how I can use whatever knowledge I had and still find a way to make a career out of it. And so I done my research on the whole apprenticeships in general. And that's where I found out that you can basically learn a practical skill, get paid for it, and if you do well enough, get a job at the end of it. So that then pushed me towards that path of trying to figure out what sort of companies do apprenticeships, what sort of job industries I can get into with doing apprenticeships. And yeah, I found out that I can do some of that engineering and sort of, in my eyes, fast track towards getting to where I wanted to be.
What interested you in that engineering piece? Why did you go down that sort of practical engineering route? Did you prior to that, did you always like doing stuff, working with your hands and doing that sort of practical work, or did it sort of jump out at you when you saw the role that was advertised? How did you pick engineering?
That's exactly what it was. I just realized that I was more a practical and a hands-on sort of person. And so I realized that engineering is a sort of industry that would allow me to showcase that side of what I can do with myself. And when I found out that that was the case, it took me a few goes before I found out that mechanical engineering was the one for me, but it was definitely within engineering. And yeah, I found my home.
Yeah, great. And look, 2020 was a bit of a roller coaster year for you. Obviously, you're in your fourth year of your apprenticeship, but last year, obviously, the company you started your apprenticeship with, unfortunately, made you redundant. So that was a tough time. So just tell us what went through your head then, and how did you come to be at Thames Water now?
Well, it was a pretty stressful time because I was on furlough for approximately 6 or 7 months. So that meant 6 or 7 months without me making any progress in the apprenticeship that I'm doing now. And so, yeah, as you said before, they made me redundant. And I was contacted by Thames Water, and they sort of asked me how and what was going on with the situation. And I made them aware. And so once I made them aware that I had basically been left to dry in my fourth year, they said that they'll make it, or they'll try their hardest to basically find somewhere that I could continue my apprenticeship and hopefully work for Thames Water in the future, which was the ultimate goal. And so, yeah, it took them a month or two, which was pretty fast in my opinion.
Yeah, no, we were pleased. It must have been really stressful for you, but we were gutted when we heard that redundancy was coming. And and then when the whole Thames Water thing came along, and you obviously managed to interview and get the job, so you did the hard bit. But we were really pleased to be able to get that transition across from the previous company into Thames Water. So it's a great opportunity. So tell us a little bit more about the role at Thames Water that you're doing. So if you can dig into kind of the actual, what you actually do for them, what the sort of technical skills that you do working with Thames Water.
Oh, okay. So I work in the THP department within Thames Water. My aim is to just basically ensure that, because it's a plant and it's a process plant, I have to ensure that each part of the process is basically running the way it should be. So me, along with my mentor, would go around the site and make sure that everything is running as it should be. And if it's not, would basically do some fault finding, fault diagnostics, and see if we can basically solve what the issue is at that point. And if not, we refer it to our manager and we take it from there.
And is that hands-on, taking a panel apart and looking at electrical fault finding and mechanical fault finding, taking a pump apart? What sort of thing? What would an average job look like for you?
Okay, let's say if it's to do with an issue of a pump, for example, you'd try and figure out what part of the pump it is, because with a pump, you'd probably have the motor section, the gearbox, and the pumping section itself. And so if it's, for example, an issue within the pumping or the motor section, it could possibly be an issue that we can sort out there, because in terms of parts and dismantling things, it would be a lot of an easier process. But if it, for example, goes to the gearbox, you're going to look at having to deal with things of buying new seals, and that's where it gets a bit more expensive and a bit more complicated. And yeah.
Okay. And so when you started your apprenticeship, you didn't have any of this knowledge?
No, none at all. None at all.
And now you're going around trying to fault find and sort pumps out and things like that.
Exactly that. Even I'm surprised.
Oh, no, I was about to say, did you 4 years ago? Did you think 4 years ago you'd be able to sit here and say, you know, I'm moving around a plant site and fixing all these things?
4 years ago, I wouldn't have thought, if I'm being honest with you, but yeah, we're here now, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what if you could pick out some things about your apprenticeship? Obviously, maybe skirt around the slight hiccup last year, but what are the things you've enjoyed about doing an apprenticeship?
I'd say meeting new and different sort of people, because like I say, I've come into this off the back of secondary school and a year in college. So I'm used to being around people that are my age, other than, of course, the teachers. But now I'm in an environment where I'm working with people that are a lot older than me, old enough to be my dad or even my granddad. So it's just good to sort of learn how to work and build that sort of working relationship with those people, because everyone is different. You must approach everyone differently. Yeah.
And has it given you skills that you use outside of your job? Are you there fixing someone's pump at home or something? I mean, have you managed to, has it sort of given you a wider perspective, or what about from an employment point of view, has it given you some skills that you maybe didn't have before you out of leaving schools in relation to employment and things?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like, for example, at home, whenever there's an issue now, my mum doesn't look outside before she wants to solve a problem. She'll first call me. She'll be like, oh, basically, I've got X, Y, and Z issue. What do you think of it? And then I'll be there trying to prove a point that I'm actually learning when I leave the house.
Well, it's when you got to try and fix it. I guess trying to fix the TV or something that's way outside of what way outside of your competencies, I suppose, that starts to get a bit difficult. Okay, I know, and apart from kind of the furlough and the situation, what from doing your apprenticeship, what's, if you had to pick the hardest thing about doing an apprenticeship, the thing that you found the difficult bit about doing an apprenticeship, what do you think that might be?
For me, I would say the practical side of things is fairly easy, because not easy, but it's okay, because you're guided through the process. Everybody that's working with you understands that you have no prior knowledge, so they don't put a lot of pressure on you. But the only part of the apprenticeship that I'd say was, or is difficult, is of course the theory side of things, where you've got to make sure you keep on top of your college work, keep on top of doing your knowledge questions, your write-ups, because if you don't, you could easily fall behind, and that's not what you'd want to do. So if you manage your time correctly and approach it with the right attitude, you'd be all right.
Yeah. And you're obviously, as you said, you're in your fourth year, finishing this year, and you got your dreaded EPA coming up, but don't worry about that at the moment.
I'll be good.
That'll be good. No, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know. But what about once you finish? What do you know? What your role at Thames is going to look like once you finish? Do you do more of the same, or is that undecided yet, or where do you go after you finish your apprenticeship?
Because this plant is fairly new, I'd be one of the few people that basically knows and understands the plant, which is my plan. So their plan is to, of course, keep me there to allow me to develop. And now I'll be able to work alone, because as we're speaking, I can only work with a mentor because I'm not qualified. But once I'm done, then have more hands to sort of tackle the issues that they have.
Yeah, and have you got any other sort of longer term career plans, or is at the moment are you just looking short term? Get finished, get working at on your own at the plant, or is there anything longer term that you have aspirations for?
Well, so for now, obviously finish my mechanical side of things. As soon as I've discussed with my manager, get onto the electrical side of things. So then I become dual skilled. And once I'm dual skilled, I'm perhaps thinking of going into the instrumentation side of things.
Okay, yeah. So you've got those sort of aspirations as to which part of engineering you enjoy doing and what you like doing. I suppose that's one of the beauties of the apprenticeship, is it gives you quite a nice wide base of knowledge to start from, and then you can kind of grow from there, really.
Exactly that.
Which is a good thing. So if you were talking to someone that's about to go looking at doing an apprenticeship or about to go into an apprenticeship, what what advice would you give to them when looking, and what advice would you give to them when applying and going through the process of trying to find an apprenticeship?
My first piece of advice would be to research the company you're going to join, because you're going to make sure you join an established company that would actually commit to having an apprentice, because if they don't, it'd make the journey a bit difficult for you, which is not what you'd want. And secondly, I'd say your attitude has to be correct, because you're coming into a different environment where I'd say in school, at times you'd be babied to sort of get past the finish line, whereas in the working industry, they're not gonna force you to do anything you don't want to do. So you got to pull your trousers up, mate.
And you've got Mark, our training officer, breathing down your neck as well, making sure you're doing your work too.
Mark is good.
Yeah, good. And he's speaking. He said, we talk all the time, obviously, and I get updates about your progress, and he says you're doing really well, which is great to hear. Anything else you want to say about apprenticeships while we're here? What about them generally? About why you should do them?
What I'd say you should do is, the best part about this is, at the end of the day, everybody wants to get a career out of whatever they do. And so if you go to uni, chances are you're going to get big debts on your head. Whereas if you do an apprenticeship, you'd be all right, debt free.
Yeah, absolutely. And earning some money.
That's a big thing. And earning money,
Earning money while you're learning. It's a good thing. Look, thank you very much for talking to me. I think that's given a great insight to someone that's insight into what you do, and insight into why you should do an apprenticeship. And I really appreciate you talking to us. And good look, best of luck with the rest of your course. Best of luck with your EPA.
Thank you.
I'm going to say it once more, EPA coming up as and when it comes. And good luck. Yeah, good luck with your career once you pass that, and you'll be flying.
Thank you very much. Thank you.